you may not know this, but Bradford once came very close to becoming a major car production centre. There was once a factory there, turning out thousands of cars and vans, and this year they're celebrating the 100th anniversary of the first Jowett cars. Now, for a time, the company looked like a world beater, but then it all began to go wrong. Alan Whitehouse unravels the story.
Travelling in style. When you're on your way to a Jowett car rally, what better way of getting there than in a genuine Jowett Bradford? John Atack owns 2 Jowetts. What's the attraction?
The fact is that they are fairly simple to work on, and of course simple folk, simple tools, and simple engines. Wonderful recipe.
This weekend, he's in good company. Well over 100 Jowett cars are expected for the centenary event, including owners who've come halfway round the world.
To come here for 100 years of Jowett motor cars is something that's a bit of a crusade, really. So there are about 12 or 14 of us from Australia and around about 20 odd from New Zealand.
The Jowett brothers have been in Bradford since 1901. They saw making cars as the next big thing, and for a while they were right. Here's one on a demonstration proving run. The factory hummed, and after the Second World War they had a design for a new family car. But then it all went wrong, and by the end of 1953 the factory was closed.
I don't think they deserved to go under. I think they had a technical product. They were advanced technically, and I think you could almost be cynical and say that had they been based in Birmingham, not Bradford, the story could have been different.
Thankfully, the cars live on. These days they change hands for anything up to £20,000 apiece. No wonder they get all this TLC. It's exactly 100 years since the first Jowett car rolled off the production line. This one's not quite that old, but she's coming up to her 60th birthday just the same. And the enthusiasts who have organised this weekend tell me there's no reason at all why 100 years from now some of these cars shouldn't still be on the road. It's a wonderful thought, isn't it? Alan Whitehouse, BBC Look North, aboard a Jowett Bradford.
Paul Beaumont, chairman of the northern section of the Jowett Owners Club. Today you have organised a scenic run around the Northern Peak District.
That's correct.
How did the route of the scenic run come about?
Well, we have 2 or 3 rules for sort of dreaming up a scenic run route. We chose to go down south to the Peak District this time because we've been into the Dales several times before. What we do is either look for some points of interest to drive through or 1 or 2 locations. Today we've sort of combined both. People who want to drive a longer distance can go to Castleton. Alternatively, they can short circuit going to Castleton and they can drive around amongst the reservoirs where there's some quite nice scenery and that sort of thing. So it is a true scenic run.
And how many cars are you expecting to take part today?
The weather's made it a bit of a job, of course, but we're hoping that the better part of 100 vehicles will take part today, driving around the route.
And what's the sort of distance they're going to be travelling?
If they go to Castleton, they'll cover 75 miles. If they short circuit Castleton, they'll take about 15 miles off it. So it'll be around about a 60-mile run sort of thing.
And what particular places of interest should appeal to the owners?
Well, the 2 villages of Castleton, or towns of Castleton and Hope, are very picturesque. They're very notable places in that area. The other area that's quite interesting is Upper and Lower Bradfield. There's a small brewery on a farm in Upper Bradfield, which we think that they may like to drop in and have a look at. We've arranged for a little bit of a chat there to tell them how they make beer and things like that. Then the route really winds itself back amongst the reservoirs, and we've actually taken them back through Suxton so they can actually drive past, and if they wish, stop and have a look at the Husker Pitt Memorial in the churchyard there. So they're the main points of interest on the route. The most of the rest of it is scenery.
Okay. How long are the vehicles expected to take over the journey?
Well, we've actually taken a Bradford down to Castleton along the route, and on a non-stop run that was just short of 2 hours to get to Castleton, and the return trip is about the same. if people don't use the long route, we're probably talking of an hour and a half of driving time. Obviously, somewhere or other people will stop for lunch. There are several locations on the route that we've identified, several nice pubs on the route that have got decent car parks where people will stop for lunch. So I'm anticipating people probably being away from the hotel maybe 5 hours, something like that.
What form of recognition will be awarded to the owners for taking part?
Sadly, they don't get anything.
Oh,
They don't get anything at all. It's just part of the weekend that the run is. We have a scenic run every year, and we actually don't give them any kind of memento for taking part there. We will give them a memento tomorrow when they're at Cannon Hall. Every vehicle at Cannon Hall will get an attendance plaque for being at Cannon Hall.
And sadly, it looks like they're going to get rather wet as well. Let's hope the weather improves.
Yeah, I hope some of the Jupiter hoods are fairly watertight. Yes. Yes.
Well, thanks very much.
Okay, thanks, David. Thanks
Cheers
very
now.
much.
Bye-bye.
Saturday, the 29th of May 2010, starts damp, dull and miserable. However, as the day progressed, the weather took a turn for the worse, and the rain came down like steroids. Mind you, the inclement weather didn't dampen the spirit or the enthusiasm. Time to ensure oil and water levels are nicely topped up, although as the day progresses there will be ample water to spare.
Not very elegant, this.
It's also a good time to check the exact route on your sat-nav. Our film shows a variety of Jowetts at selected locations within the northern section of the Peak District National Park. After all the last-minute preparations have been completed, the cars then make their way at intervals for the start of the run and turn left out of the hotel onto the A636 trunk road and then head for the hills. Interestingly, the first major peak of the Peak District was encountered at the hotel car park exit.
I'm getting the complete Jowett experience today. Bit of English weather.
Yeah.
It's good. And I get to crank start the pump. Oh, wrong side.
Hey? Short.